everybody, and welcome back to the Profitable Private Practice podcast. Today we have Dr. Tolu with us. Yay! Dr. Tolu, how about you do a 60-second introduction of yourself so we can get started?
All right, I'm Dr. Tolulope, Olabintan, Dr. O for short. I am a family physician, co-founder, CEO of Living Spring Family Medical Center in the beautiful city of Mansfield, Texas, where we help our patients live long and well because we believe the quality of life is just as important as the quantity of life. I'm also a Christian. I'm a wife. I'm a mama. I'm a dog mom too. I'm also a foodie and I'm a life enthusiast. I do like helping people improve their quality of life and yes, that's 60 seconds. I think I did good.
You did good, yes. Okay, and so I was doing a little bit of research about you, and I figured out a fun fact that you went on mission trips. And let me see, I think there was Senegal, Ghana, Haiti, and Nigeria. Is there another place, or did I get everywhere?
I did Guyana
Guyana.
as well. I've been to Honduras
Oh, wow.
as well. Yeah.
So what is
Yeah.
something you learned during those times that have helped you today?
Whew, never, never forget to look back. You know, my background was kind of humble too. Now, not as humble as the mission sites I've been to, but it's important to take time to look back, see how far you've come, and go back and see how you could pour into others. It needs to be done either systematically or at least strategically. You got to prioritize that. It helps you stay grounded. It helps you stay relatable in all rooms. Yeah.
That's good. So how do you apply that to like your business or your everyday life?
You know, the value of the human soul is independent of their financial status, their size, their um mindsets. Like you got to value the human. I mean, the human being is a very powerful creation, and so it's teaching the team to prioritize every individual and to treat them the same way they would like to be treated. And so it's also challenged me or helped me to model the same example I'm expecting of my team members. You can't you can't give what you don't have. And so the experiences help with that. It helps me teach also my team members how to relate to people in the way where they feel heard and seen and valued, much more than next patient, next patient. And so I think those experiences have helped keep me grounded. And so it's kind of weaving to who I am. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. And since you've already started talking about team, let's dive a little bit into that business aspect. So could you walk us through the initial moment where you had that first thought of being an entrepreneur? Where the thought first came to you, like what was going through your mind? What started that?
So the first thought was a long time ago. I would say maybe 15, 16 years ago, but it was a very distant thought, more like when I'm aged, like, yeah, I've done all the things and now it's like, okay, that's what really old people do. Believe it or not, that's what I thought. Like, yeah, when you're old, then you start to think like that. And then, I knew it was in my genetic, like I knew it was something I was called to do, but I figured there were always enough reasons to defer. And then COVID hit. You know, I lost a few colleagues, and there was a sense of, okay, what are you called to do? What's holding you back? Now is the time. And one of the things that was holding me back was fear. And I thought one of the ways you knew it was time to leap into something relatively stretchy or big season, that the fear would dissipate. Like you'd be like, now is time. But then it's like an epiphany. Do it afraid. There was a movement. And for me, I'm big on the Bible. And so the Bible verse, I think it is Psalms 58. And David, who's like a giant slayer, he's like, even when I'm afraid, I will trust you. I'm like, man, home dude who could kill a giant and who's David the great, a psalmist, could say that. I'm like, I'm in good company. And so it became, I'll do it afraid. So I'm scared, but I know for a fact that this is something I'm called to do. And so once that was settled, then it became a question of how. All right. So that was 2020. Yes.
That's wonderful. And so what were some things that needed to change, like, in between that time where you had the thought and then where first had your practice, when you first started your practice?
So one was, I didn't realize I was not very good at taking my own advice with asking and receiving help. So I like to, you know how people come to you, I'm the fixer in my family. I'm the person people go to. Like, I can't be asking for help. I'm the go-to person. So there was a shift. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this requires me asking for help and taking, not just asking, but actually receiving the help. So that was one. Two, there were big leaps and bounds as far as this one. This is like, okay, self-development and the price for it. Um, I was one of those physicians. I no longer am. That said, I mean, once I was done with residency, I was like, man, I will not have to read a book. Yes, I'll update my certifications, make sure I stay, but I'm not having to study like I did in medical school. And so that was a shift. I needed to develop as a leader. I would have to lead teams. I would have to learn how to market and ask people to come, let me be the blessing that I am to them as a physician. I would have to get comfortable even saying that. I'd have to market and not feel, well, feelings aside, I would do the things necessary to grow the practice, grow the team, and take care of the patients I'm sent to. So all of that, and then time management. I had to learn, there's the big fear like, will I have all the time to do all the things needed to run the practice? I've had to learn how to stretch time, maximize time, upgrade time, expand time. Like it's fun actually. I'm always like, how can I make this 1 hour so magical, so much more? So it's been quite a few mindset shifts, if you'd say.
So mindset shifts were like the biggest thing in between that time. Yeah, okay. That's really good. And so I was going over some of your wins, and you said that you have served and, it's still ongoing, but 10,000 patients. And I saw that and I was like, okay, maybe I saw that wrong. So then I messaged you, I'm like, are you sure it's 10,000? And you're like, yes, it's 10,000. So that's absolutely amazing. And, there could be someone right now who is struggling to get their schedule filled and they want to know how you were able to attract so many patients. So could you answer that?
So number one is find out what works, find out what works. So first though, it's put yourself out there. We didn't start out with, I think when we opened Telly, I had no one for a month. Then my brother came to see me and then my sister. They're cute. Like, yeah, let's come. So then I had friends come, but one, you gotta ask for people to work with you. What does asking mean? So sometimes it's asking on social media. Sometimes it's asking people around like, hey, I'm opening the practice. I would love for you to come see me and get comfortable. Well, maybe let me rephrase that. You don't have to get comfortable, but practice it. The muscle gets stronger. And so I don't know if you get comfortable, but at least you normalize it. And so asking potential referral sources to send patients to you. So I would get up, get dressed, put on, music that energizes me, like, reminds me of who I am, who's with me, and then go to practices and introduce myself as someone who's opening the practice and say, hey, I would love to enlist you as a referral source so that I can send my patients to you. So cardiologists, dermatologists in the local area, pulmonologists, orthopedic doctors, I would give them my business card and ask for theirs. And so what I found worked was creating win-wins for everyone. So win for me, clearly, I would want, them to send their patients to me, but I also win for them as well and win for the person I'm talking to. So it's maybe a little gift bag or thank you or acknowledgement. So I'll say that's one. Number two, we're in the age where everyone is online. At least a lot of people are. And so brand visibility online, I would say, is a very, very, very necessary tool in this age. And not just a stiff website or a stiff post, but a post that is dynamic. So you have videos, you have links to where people can see you on video so they get a feel for who you are. I would also say, making sure that when you get a client, they are potentially a source of other clients. So you treat them like they're your only client. And so I have a catchphrase that has worked. And, I say this from a place of sincerity. So it's not a state, like I've learned to, like, so find something that works for you. For me, it's when I walk in, who do I thank for the privilege to meet you? I mean, granted, Cheta, as a physician, I'm going to ask you personal information. Like, I'm going to dig and ask it. And this is the first time you're meeting me. It's kind of like, so it's a privilege to be able to be given that exposure to you. And so it's like, who do I thank for the privilege to meet you? And I tell them, please thank them for me. And so that kind of feeds or fans the flame of future referrals. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. And so what are, if you don't mind me asking, some like big asks that you've done that you've know like brought people to your practice? Because your number is 10,000 and ongoing. So
Big asks. So one, and this one was an idea that I know is a gift. I I asked my team that helps with newsletter. I said, tell people to share with others the gift of me. So the newsletters, yeah, about 5,000 people are on there, and so I'm saying, as you go into the holiday season, um, and so one may think, well, that's kind of tooting your own horn, but you are a gift as a physician. Or your sphere of influence, you are a gift. And there are people who need to meet you to improve their quality of life so they can be who God has called them to be. So I've owned that. I practice it. There are days where I'm like, I struggle a little bit, but I'm learning to own that in deeper dimensions. And so I said, I want you to put it under, please just forward this email to them. If you know someone who could use the gift of me, my practice, my team, forward this to them. So that's one, and then two, asking people to come work with me. I've had to, you know, I almost lost some team members that I didn't want to. Now it's not a whole lot. I won't sound here like I kick people out, but I had team members who maybe I didn't communicate the way I meant to when I was giving feedback. And one of them, this was a tough ask, wanted to leave and actually had another job offer. And I looked at her and I said, no, I don't want you to leave. I like your work. You care for patients. I hear you speak. I hear patients' feedback about you. I see the air is lighter when you're around. I don't want you to leave. And so I could have said, all right, bye, see you later too. But I was like, nah. And she stayed. And so I would say that's another, ask. And one of the most daring asks is to ask someone to, I actually walked into a bank and I said, hey, it was the day I said, hey, you know what? We're doing something beautiful in Mansfield. And I want your bank to be a part of it. And when we have a fancy wall, in the practice we'll put your name on it. And the lady looked at me like, huh? I'm like, yeah. And then she went to go call her boss. I guess she'll talk to her boss. We're like, yeah. And she came out. She's like, in the 17 years I have done this, I have never had anyone do that. Well, fast forward 2 years later, we didn't get the free money, but they approved the loan to get the build that we're building right now. And, the person who approved the loan, he said, I remember when she came in. So we ask our way to increase capacity. We ask our way to keep taking care of ourselves in this life and to be all that we can be to help the people we are called to help. So you got to ask yeah.
you gotta ask, in essence, ask. Okay. And so I know you have like a really, really good team. And so building a team to support, a multi-million dollar practice is kind of a daunting task to some people, but you managed to do it. So what are some of the practice steps that you took to build your team?
So there have been shifts, right? So sometimes you learn from some of the mistakes of the past seasons, right? And so one of the things that has helped is with systems. So even with employment and onboarding and training your systems. And so I would say the few things one has to kind of accept is that you have to train and lead your team. Like there's no, okay, I'm done with that for now. I don't want to do that part. Like it's part of it and you can become that. So one part of training my team is learning how to train my team. So I am an EBS. I'm the group of physicians that show examples of how I learned from their examples. Two, I listen to books on how to, I read books on how to. And then I also have a passion for teaching. So I like, there's this, is like a juice for me. Like whenever you encounter me and you're better for it, it's like score. That's impact. That's legacy. And so from the interview process, I let you know that part of our way here is we have you read books. If you don't like reading books, I'm not sure you'd be a good fit here. So you know. So you're not shocked when I gift you a book with a gift card. Like here's a book we're gonna use. Then I interview for, and we have a process where we have this multi-step interviewing, and we ask, what their future goals are, so we can help in our working with them meet those goals. So it's either someone to go to PA school, all right, your experience here will help you for that. Someone to go to nursing school. So creating wins for them help you keep your team and help them feel like they're part of something. All right. And then part of the systems is trainings. And so some of them are few minutes long. Some of them are 1 hour longs, but 1 hour long, but we do them frequently. So for example, we have a huddle in the morning, every morning, when I'm there and when I'm not there. Someone starts off, the prayer, and then the next thing is a book chapter. Now, mind you, Cheta, I don't want you thinking like, oh my God, this is like work. It's a little chapter, literally 5 minutes to read. Like I picked the shortest books. In fact, the whole chapter, if it has 10 little segments, I'm like one segment. So it literally takes you less than 10 minutes. And the goal is for you to read the book, share your lessons and how in your role it can upgrade or improve our systems. So we do that. So passively, they're learning too. And then another team member is assigned to say tips or hacks that they've learned in their role. So we're like, oh, I didn't know the system could do that. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. So that's another one. And then we schedule meetings where we ask, how are you doing in your role? These are your expectations. How you think you're doing? How can we help you? And what are, blind sides or, seeing things we don't see because we're not working in your role that we need to do better at. And so that has helped. It is work. It takes time, but we schedule it. And feedback has been good in that they're like, oh, thank you. I just want to know how I'm doing.
Mm,
I want to know.
yeah, that's really good. So how has like the feedback itself like impacted the quality of your team? Like just the feedback. Okay, so like someone did something and you're like, okay, this is how you did. How has that improved the quality of your team?
So, you know, when people know what they're doing well, then they don't walk around eggshells with you. So they're like, so I do hold my team to a high level of excellence. I'll be honest with you, I don't mince word with that. But when I tell them good job, you can see them like their confidence. I had to tell her, I said, when you show up for the interview, let me tell you the things you do here that you've done. And I had to highlight from working the back desk, the front desk, to be my scribe, to helping with refilling medications. So I told her, and she was just like, oh, wow, that's true. I didn't know. I'm like, so I want you to show up in your interview that so it boosts their confidence and it helps them know that they're a part of something, they're contributing. And so the feedback has led to, I had team members say they look forward to coming to work, that like the work is their happy place. Now that made me feel a little concerned, but that's a whole different conversation. But it's like, yeah, I actually look forward to coming to work. So it makes the atmosphere better. So, you know, you spend a lot of time with those you work with. And so if you're stressed and on eggshell, am I doing right? Am I not? And you constantly think it doesn't help with you giving good care. So the patients suffer too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they feel better. They're encouraged, like good job. So we have they found a way to put emojis, like those ones that are, I don't know, other emojis, what are they called? Like high five, like, yeah, you know. So we have ways of doing that in the chat. So throughout the day,
Yeah.
that helps people feel like, good job, we're meeting our numbers, great. So encouragement, who wouldn't like encouragement? How would you feel if someone came to you and told you consistently, like, man, good job.
Yeah.
You could do it a little differently, but good job on this, but here's a shortcut. How would you feel? It would make the day move smoother and, less trepidatious. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. So then, could you give us some examples of some challenges that you faced on the way to building your practice? Like, how do you navigate, all of the challenges of entrepreneurship?
Ooh, challenges. Wow. They're real. They're real. but they're surmountable. So number one was when I make a mistake in hiring,
Mm.
where, out of just, I just need help. I have a feeling that because the person I want decided to go somewhere else, and I'm like, okay, let me just, and just the stress of that. So, one of the challenges I had was just reconciling with hiring wrong and knowing I did. So great team member in the fact that not team member, she saw patients well. Patients loved her, but the team walked on eggshells, even me. Like, it was rough. Um, and then having to make the decision, it's either because I had other team members who would leave, and she was a higher role, and so there's usually the assumption that the person who is lower role will go, but it was not just one or two people; it was multiple, and I was like, no, this is not good, and so I had to make the tough decision of letting her go, even though she was a very big help to the practice. And so that's one of the challenges, hiring well, and making a decision that best suits everyone, not just you, right? Not just you, it's everyone, because that's what makes the team work, not the individual.
Mm.
So that's one. Two, the other thing I would say was the challenge of time management, right? A lot of things to do, so many tasks that you can check off that will give you the dopamine hit, but you know that that's not what you should prioritize.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a dopamine hit with checking your emails and doing the things, but you know you need to have that meeting to talk about the way moving forward. So that had been a challenge. I'm getting better at it now. And I'm learning to limit distractions and also to plan my week ahead. So I know what my top priorities are per day and I can focus. Um, Other challenges I would say is the challenge of growth. When you grow, you need more people, so you need to hire, you need to train, and so creating systems around those so that it's not so draining. So I'll say those top three challenges.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially that dopamine one. I've gone through that so much with my schoolwork where I just do the smaller assignments, but it's not getting anything done. And at the end of the day, you have this big thing that you need to do. Like, just start with that first. Just start with that first.
And then I feel like you need to deal with me.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Like, 'cause if it's my schoolwork, I'd start, with like the ones that are like 5 points and whatnot, because they're easier. Then there's this one that's worth 125 points, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, but yes, so eat that frog. Start with the hard things first. Yes. Okay, and then so you've been in EBS for 5 years, right? So how did it contribute to your entrepreneurial journey, the journey of your private practice?
All right. So I'll paint the picture. So before EBS, I had a dream in my heart and a slang or slogan, care, comma, sincerely apostrophe. And in my mind, that was a silly, cute dream. It didn't sound fancy. It didn't sound high tech. And I struggled. I'll be honest with you. I remember like it's this, but I couldn't shake off that was the slogan. And that's a place where people felt sincerely cared for. And that was a practice I envisioned. Well, fast forward. I mean, clearly I stayed in the school 5 years. I mean, who stays? I mean, med school wasn't this long. It was 4. It wasn't this long. It was 4. So I've stayed because of the pressure in the room. Interestingly, I was talking to someone today and they were asking me the same question because they're considering joining. And
Mm.
they said, why do you stay? And I say, the pressure in the room is a positive pressure. You know, Chacha, there are no true shortcuts in life, but they're validated shortcuts.
Mm.
One is having a mentor, having a coach, having someone that keeps you accountable, that you can sincerely share your struggles, your challenges, and they can give you feedback based on them being ahead of you, right? So that's a shorter cut. And so being in a school where I see people doing things that has not even crossed my mind, and I'm like, hey, well, she did it. So, I've literally, Chacha, gone to some of them. I said, I don't even need to know how you did. I just want to know the mindset that made you think you could do that. Like I just want to get in your mind and see how did you normalize that that's something you would do? But they too grew. If you had the conversation with me 3 years ago when I joined ABS for 2 years, it was, ooh, I can hire, yay! So I hired a team member, and I'm like, oh, I can do that again, and then, ooh, I can do it again, and 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 so the growth continues. We're expanding to a space that's gonna go about 4 or 5 times our current size. So clearly, yes, works,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not saying this as an EBS advocate. I am, but that's not how I'm saying it. I'm saying as a physician entrepreneur. There's systems that are curated that will help you and will challenge you to do the things to help you in entrepreneurship. It's not a 1 year journey. It's not a 6 months. It's if you want to be an entrepreneur for a while, then it's a entrepreneurial journey. And so
Okay.
EBS has been my shorter cut. And yeah, I'm still here. I already
Still
signed up.
here.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so EBS has things for everybody. For, private practice physicians, it has multiple things. So, there's the business school, there's PPPM, there's all of the different things. And so if you're wondering, okay, what am I supposed to do? Your next best step, right, would be to book a call. So it's entremd.com/success. So that you can book a call, so that you can figure out, you can talk to a team member and figure out what your next best step will be. Whether it's for you to join the business school or it's for you to join PPPM, whatever it may be, you can book a call. So entremd.com/success to book your call today. Okay, because EBS is here to serve you. We are here for you. That's what it is. Yes. Okay, and so Dr. Una talks about, having the dream business and having the dream life. And one of the wins that you shared with me was that you have become more efficient as a wife and as a mom. So could you tell us more about that?
All right. So, it was my, okay, I want to tell you my age, but it's okay. It was my 41st birthday. And my son was, so one of the things we started doing, I think 3 years ago, is for your birthday, everyone tells you how much they mean to you. It just makes sense. I don't like funerals. That's when everybody knows how much they meant to. Did you ever tell? Anyway, that's a different story. And so he says, Mom, I love that you spend quality time with me. I love, and then my mom looks confused. And so later I go to her and I'm like, Mom, what? She's like, how can he be saying that with how busy you are? I
Mm,
don't get it. And then I talked to her about how I've learned how to grow my team to help me.
mm,
I have learned to delegate efficiently. I have learned to prioritize. And she's like, huh, like she sighs a sigh of relief. I was like, Mom, I don't do this alone. So what it has translated into is one, I am more strategic in my time. I have calendars for meet and greets. I have calendars for my kids where it's me and them, no phones, and we're having conversations heart to heart. I'm able to have lunch with them because they're on my schedule. I have a calendar that works for me. And I've had to learn this because of all the things I have to manage. I realize now I'm actually doing more than I did before I started the business
mm.
and still running the business. All right. And then as a wife is intentionality. So my morning routine, they're a big part of it. So it's not a question of just sitting next to your child and being there. I'm actually present when I'm with them.
Present with them, yeah.
So I've learned to prioritize properly. Um, I've learned to, I travel, I've actually traveled more with my family since I started the business. Um, Now, are there things I've given up? Yes. TV is not my thing, never was. I've read more books than I have in a minute, and so I've learned, it's kind of forced me to prioritize things that actually matter to me, including relationships.
Mm.
I have scheduled meeting with my friends where we chat. I actually have a link for that. And I've learned how to maximize time. So I'm driving, I call a friend, or I have people I schedule to check in how you're doing, send voice notes. So I've found creative ways for all the areas of my life to make sure there's a touch point, throughout
Mhm.
the day, throughout the week. And it's made my life more beautiful, more full. Yes.
Wonderful. That's amazing. Okay, that's really good. And so, if you could teach a struggling private practice physician one thing, what would it be?
I would say don't buy the rhetoric that private practice cannot thrive.
Mm.
I would say that's the, don't buy it. What was the word? Return it back to sender. Like return, give them, you have the receipt, give it back. Instead, how are people thriving? Key into that. There's a lot of drama, and actually that's a big thing. Once you key into that, then you start to look for systems that support the narrative that private practices, that physician-led businesses are thriving. And then you find something like EBS, and then you find, so that's the biggest thing. The mindset drama is big in itself. And so if we can unpack that and you know that you can thrive, it's not a woo-woo talk, it's not just positivity, it actually exists. I would say that's the beautiful gift I would like to draw up. There's hope. There are people, you just got to connect with them, have conversations, rinse and repeat, though. It's not a one off.
That's really that's very good. And then so how can people find you? Between, they want to, like go to your practice or they want to talk to you, book a call, whatever it is, how can they find you?
So I'm on the website. The website is www.livingspring. That's one word, Living Spring, no S, medicals with an S.com. I'm also on YouTube, dr_Olabintan. I'm also Instagram, dr_Olabintan MD. If you Google my name, you see all the things. They tend to
Yes,
come up.
you will.
Oh, now
You
you
will.
can connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good. Okay, and then so to everybody who was watching, I just want to say a really big thank you for listening to this episode. And if this episode has impacted you in any way, I want to give you a challenge, and that challenge is to share this with a private practice doc that is in your world. Whether you're the doctor listening or you're a patient listening and there's a private practice doc that I want you to, send this to them. Don't allow this podcast to be the best kept secret. So you can go ahead and share this with all of the private practice docs in your world because you never know how it's going to help them. And so a very big thank you to Dr. Tolu. I want to say thank you so much for allowing me to interview. This has been amazing. I've learned so much. I think this is gonna maybe, I mean, honestly, all of the episodes I've done have been my favorite episodes. So I probably just watch all of them 100 times, but it is what it is. So thank you so much. Thank you. Bye everybody.